There we go. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the most interactive wrestling show. And we are still not. That is weird. I am having the most trouble ever. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the most interactive wrestling show on the interweb. Welcome back to Wrestling with Omer. We have a fantastic show planned for you today. I have a fantastic show planned for you all today. If you haven't already done so, do me a big time favor, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. For all the live people, we're going to be going up just until the start of WWE Monday Night Raw. For all the people listening at home on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure to leave a 5-star review if you haven't already done so. We have quite a bit to talk about today. Of course, we are coming off of the heels of one of the most insane scenes we've ever seen in professional wrestling, with Bad Bunny picking up that insane victory over Damian Priest. And of course, we had the big time news drop of Drew McIntyre and what his future may or potentially may not hold. So a lot to talk about, a lot to get to. For some reason, my chat feature, the chat box, whatever, is not working. We'll try to get that fixed as soon as we possibly can. Again, if you haven't already done so, do me a big favor, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And the chat box is still not working. Well, I'll have to try to fix that later. Do leave your questions though. We will get to them as we move on in the show. Let's start off talking about Bad Bunny. All right, so Bad Bunny comes out to this insane reaction in San Juan, Puerto Rico. One of the most awesome and cool things that we've ever seen. That camera shot of the camera zooming across the entire crowd as his song plays is one of the most epic things we will ever see on WWE TV, period. On top of that, his performance, for me, solidified that Bad Bunny is the best celebrity wrestler of all time. And honestly, that's even if you count Logan Paul as a celebrity wrestler, because unlike Logan Paul, Bad Bunny never a day, to my knowledge at least, trained in a boxing ring, trained in an MMA ring. He's only ever trained in a pro wrestling ring. The fact that Bad Bunny was able to pull off what he's been able to pull off, not just tonight, but at WrestleMania 37, but at the Royal Rumble in 2022, this to me solidifies him as amongst the best, if not the best, celebrity wrestler of all time. I mean, you had him doing Canadian Destroyers. Like, the Canadian Destroyer is one of the most awesome to see moves in wrestling. The fact that Bad Bunny was, and Damian Priest, who of course was involved in that, right? The fact that Bad Bunny was able to do his part in pulling off a Canadian Destroyer on a guy as big as Damian Priest and not manage to slip up, not manage to fall, that is a feat unto itself. But the fact that he was able to go out there in his home crowd and just pull off an awesome match. Like, one thing you cannot deny to me. I know there's a lot of AEW fans who don't like this, a lot of WWE fans who are trying to hype this as the greatest thing ever. This was awesome. Period. Bad Bunny is good. Bad Bunny was great in this part. And if you ask me, like, if you're going to do this like once a year where Bad Bunny just comes out and has like an awesome match, or he does a Puerto Rico show, do it. Do it, because you're going to draw money every single time. You're going to draw ratings, and you're going to draw attention from the mainstream media every single time. And on top of that, you are going to put someone in there. You're going to be able to put someone like Damian Priest in there, in the ring with Bad Bunny, so that People Magazine or TMZ or all these different outlets talking about Bad Bunny wrestling Damian Priest, or Bad Bunny wrestling LA Knight, or whoever. Insert person name here at Backlash this Sunday. That is what you want, because that's how you build up name recognition. That's how you build up stars in a way, by giving them that celebrity rub. Now, of course, does that involve Bad Bunny winning every single time? Not necessarily, but if you ask me, the way they pulled this off, this was not just a match. This was a brawl. This was almost a segment, but like just an action-packed segment. I would liken this a lot to Vince McMahon versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania X7. Not in the way the match was structured at all, but in what it was. This was not a wrestling match. This was a showcase. This was an exhibition. This was fun. This was a spectacular, Vince McMahon say. This was entertainment. And if you ask me, was I sports entertained watching Bad Bunny and Damian Priest and the LWO, Carlito, who has not been seen on WWE TV since the 2021 Royal Rumble, and before that, even way longer, since the Hall of Fame in 2014. He made an appearance, had an awesome reaction. Savio Vega, who knew he was still over? Of course, he's still over in Puerto Rico, but he was still, like, Savio Vega was still around, and Savio Vega was coming out and helping Bad Bunny, which is just insane. Not something you thought would happen in 2022 or 2023. I don't even know what year it is. That's how awesome that match was, but I dug it. There are going to be a lot of detractors. There are going to be a lot of haters who don't necessarily agree with the match, or maybe the way it was structured or whatever. One thing that I will definitely say about this match, this is going to be a match. Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest is going to be a match that people go back and watch for years to come. It was that awesome. And it's not just because of the action. It's not just because you had Rey Mysterio, the LWO, Savio Vega, Carlito, and basically everyone else involved in that match. But it's because of the atmosphere and what they were able to create, what the fans of Puerto Rico were able to create after being starved without wrestling, meaningful television wrestling, since 2005. They showed exactly why this is one of the best traditional markets, one of the best wrestling markets in the entire world, because wrestling doesn't start and end in Puerto Rico with WWE. You had Carlos Colon and all the stuff that they were doing there before. You had Bruiser Brody, who made himself a legend wrestling out of Puerto Rico, and a hardcore legend there. Like this is a special wrestling city, and we should not forget it. And something else I do want to talk about is one thing that WWE has done especially well this year is not every week, because if you ask me, their crowds week to week on television are pretty weak and non-active. But if you ask me, their big pay-per-views, WWE has been able to make their big pay-per-views, see the crowd interaction, the crowd reaction they get is big. And I think it does have something to do with the fact that this year WWE has been putting hometown stars in the main event or in meaningful matches on these big shows. You talk about the special atmosphere they had at Puerto Rico for Backlash. Think about Sami Zayn in Montreal in Elimination Chamber, or at Elimination Chamber. That was only 2 months ago. That was recent. And WWE were able to capitalize on this hometown star getting this big reaction and being able to create one of the most special atmospheres in the history of professional wrestling. Not once this year, but twice. And that is no small feat. And it's something we should be mindful of. And it's something I think you're going to see, at least maybe in the near future, be a trend. Because Triple H, this is a thing that he likes to do. And I think personally, it's great for WWE. I just wish that they could replicate it better on their week-to-week TV shows. And that doesn't mean, if you're in, I don't know. It doesn't mean if you're in, for example, if you're in Long Island, Zack Ryder has to win the WWE title. No. But, having hometown people compete and win in their hometowns, and creating that atmosphere, creating that momentum, creating that special moment. It makes the show feel better, and it makes the fans who are watching at home feel like they're getting what they are getting what their time is worth. It feels like this is worth my time. This is worth me watching, not just this week, but next week and the week after that and after that. And it's something that if they can do this, if they can actually replicate this on their week-to-week TV, I think it's awesome for WWE. I think it's awesome for the wrestlers involved, and I think it's awesome for everyone. And you know what else I think is awesome? Everyone listening to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, if you haven't already done so, do me a big time favor. Leave a 5-star review, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. The other thing that we have to talk about real briefly is, of course, Drew McIntyre. Now, for those of you who don't know, there have been a lot of updates about Drew McIntyre, his future with the company, whether or not he will stay, his contract status. Well, here's what we learned. Fightful Select has provided another update on Drew McIntyre's contract, and they have said it is widely believed that Drew's contract... Sorry, let me restart that. It's widely believed that Drew McIntyre's contract is set to expire in 2024, right before WrestleMania 40. Report also indicates that McIntyre is very undecided about his future, and it looks like he's also unhappy, or I think there's a quote of frustrated. He's frustrated with some of what's going on, and that shouldn't surprise anyone because it kind of goes along with things we've heard about McIntyre. And honestly, you can get the vibe from that from just watching the show. Drew McIntyre is not being treated, or I don't think he's being treated as a big star in the way that he was before, in the way that's standing of him. Like, he's a guy who for a while was the guy on WWE. He carried this company on his back for a while in the pandemic, and like, we just haven't gotten back to that, have we? We just have not gotten back to the Drew McIntyre that was the beater of everyone, the Drew McIntyre that was destroying people, that was that dominant WWE champion, the one that conquered Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 36 in the main event. And I know there wasn't anyone there, but it was still special because his rise to the main event was a natural one and one that he deserved, but we have not seen it replicated or followed up on, I think, in the proper way. I hope that changes, and I hope that WWE are able to do something with Drew to make him happy and make him worthwhile and you know, make people feel like this guy is a star to me, because he is a star. He definitely is a star. Anyway, let's see. I mean, the other thing about Drew McIntyre, I did a video on this earlier today, so if you haven't already checked that out, go check that out in the archives. It was a nice little video I made where I talked about, you know, WWE being in trouble, and part of that, the reason for that is Drew McIntyre's contract and you know, Becky Lynch's contract as well, which expires, I believe, next year. So, I mean, I know, like, people are going to view this as like, oh, this is a short term, or, oh my God, short term, nothing's going to happen. I'm like, long term, man, long-term problems are really what we're talking about here, but I don't know, y'all. Let me know what you guys think, though. I think that's going to do it for this live show. If you guys are watching this on the replay, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure to leave a 5-star review. We'll see you guys with all the other news and updates. I have some other awesome content planned throughout the week. Be sure to catch OT Graps live here on youtube.com/Real Take Wrestling on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.